Today we're going to be looking at rates and ratios. So for our first example, it says which package has the lowest cost per ounce of rice? And then we have three types of packages available. So you should get out a piece of paper and be writing this example down with me so you get that practice. So our first one, A, is 12 ounces. 12 ounces of rice costs $4.56. Okay, so maybe even if you don't copy down this question, please copy this down with me. Okay, 12 ounces costs $4.56. Our second one is 18 ounces, so we get more rice, but it costs more money for $6.30. And then lastly, we have a small bag of rice, 7 ounces of rice for $2.59. Okay. So now we want to figure out which package has the lowest cost per ounce. So when we see that per, that's telling us we're looking for our unit rate, the amount for 1 ounce, right? Per means for 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up, all these up, as ratios, and then I need to find the unit rate by trying to find an equivalent ratio. Okay, so here I have, I'm paying $4.56 for every 12 ounces. So I'm going to write that as a fraction, and I want to figure out how much for 1 ounce. Okay. So then what I'm going to ask myself is, how do I get from 12 to 1 by either multiplying or dividing? Okay, so there are two options. One's normally going to feel easier, but we could use either because of the way multiplication and division are related. So how do I get from 12 to 1? If I do 12 divided by 12, that gives me 1, because any number divided by itself is equal to 1. So that's a huge, really important thing to know. So if I do 12 divided by 12, I'm going to get 1. The other alternative would be I could multiply by 1/12. It's not that useful here, but there are times when that option is useful. Okay, so then if I divide by 12 there, I also need to divide by 12 up into the numerator. That's why I create really an equivalent fraction. This is a fraction. We want to figure out an equivalent fraction or an equivalent rate or ratio. So I'm going to take 456 and divide by 12, and we're going to see what we get. So go ahead, do that for me, see what you get. We should get 0.38, or what's going to be 38 cents in this situation. So that means for every ounce of rice in this package, you're paying 38 cents for it. That's like what the unit rate per rice is. For 1 ounce of rice, that's the cost. Okay, so now it's saying which package has the lowest cost per ounce of rice. I need to find that unit rate for B, for the 18 ounces for 63 cents, and then for C, for 7 ounces for $2.59. So we'll do B again together, and then I'm going to have you do C by yourself. Guys, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my ratio, really set up like a fraction. So this is $6.30 for 18 ounces of rice. So I need to get from 18 ounces to 1 ounce. So I'm going to ask myself, how do I get from 18 to 1 by either multiplying or dividing? Because when I'm finding equivalent fractions, it's always about multiplying or dividing. So 18 blank will give me 1. What could I do? What could I divide by? Yep, you can divide by 18. 18 divided by 18 is going to give me 1, because again, any number divided by itself is 1. So then, to figure out my equivalent rate, I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to do $6.30, divide by 18, and that's going to give me the cost per ounce. So go ahead, and you should have gotten 35 cents. Okay, so in this bag of rice, I'm paying 35 cents per ounce. So that's less than how much I paid for package A, where it was 38 cents per ounce. So far, which package has the lowest cost per ounce? It's going to be B. It's not A. But it might be C, so that's what we need to check lastly. Okay, so I'm going to let you do this. I want you to set it up yourself and figure out the cost per ounce. So again, you're going to have that ratio, 259 for 7 ounces, and then find the cost for 1 ounce. So go ahead and do that. Great. So you should have gotten 37 cents per ounce. So just checking how we did that, we have $2.59 for 7 ounces. To get to 1 ounce, we need to divide 7 by 7 because that's going to give me 1. Any number divided by itself is always 1. So when you divide by 7 up at the numerator to come up with our equivalent fraction, equivalent ratio, we're going to get 37 cents. 259 divided by 7 is 37 cents per ounce. Okay. Good job. So that is my unit rate. So now we have to answer our question. Which package has the lowest cost per ounce of rice? Well, A was 38 cents, B was 35 cents, and C was 37 cents. So B, package B is going to have the lowest cost per ounce of rice. So let me just write that as a sentence because that's a good way to answer a word problem. Package B has the lowest cost per ounce. Okay, we're going to look at one more example, but great start. So we have a word problem. A recipe calls for 5 ounces of cheese for every 2 pizzas. Juan has 8 ounces of cheese and wants to make 3 pizzas. Does Juan have enough cheese? Okay, so what's being asked here? We gotta try to figure out what's being asked. Does Juan have enough cheese? That's my question. Okay, well, let's see. How much cheese does Juan have? Juan had 8 ounces of cheese. But what does Juan want to do? Juan wants to make 3 pizzas. Okay, so that's going to be important. We're trying to figure out how much cheese does Juan need for 3 pizzas. And if it's less than 8 ounces, then we're good. Juan can make the pizzas. And if it's more than 8 ounces, then Juan can't make the pizzas. He doesn't have enough cheese. Of course, our rates, ratios, unit rate question. There's kind of 2 ways to do this, so I'm going to go about actually doing it both ways for us. So the first way is we're going to look at unit rates and kind of have 2 steps involved. So let's set up the ratio that we're given. This recipe calls for 5 ounces of cheese for every 2 pizzas. So when I have 5 ounces for 2 pizzas, eventually we want to figure out how much 3 pizzas is how much cheese we need for 3 pizzas. But since 3 isn't a multiple of 2, what I'm going to do first is I'm first going to find that unit rate. So first I'm going to figure out how many ounces of cheese there is for 1 pizza, just using unit rates like we just did. So I'm going to ask myself, how do you get from 2 to 1? By multiplying or dividing. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. So that's going to be what I have to divide by in the denominator. So then to create an equivalent fraction or an equivalent ratio, I need to do the same thing up here. 5 divided by 2. And when we do 5 divided by 2, we're going to get 2.5. So in 1 pizza, for every 1 pizza, you need 2.5 ounces of cheese. And then I'm going to create another ratio that's going to give me my answer. So now I'm thinking, okay, I actually care about making 3 pizzas. So how do I get from 1 to 3? Well, 1 times 3 equals 3. Right, by multiplying or dividing. 1 times any number gives you that number. So if we want to get from 1 to 3, we're going to multiply by 3. And then I can do the same thing up here. I need to do the same thing up here to create an equivalent ratio, equivalent fraction. So I do 2.5 times 3, and that's going to give me 7.5. So to make 3 pizzas, you need 7.5 ounces of cheese. So does Juan have enough cheese? Yeah, Juan has 8 ounces of cheese. That's more than 7.5, so that's enough. So yes, Juan has 8 ounces of cheese, and he only needs 7.5 ounces. So he has like an extra half an ounce, which is great. Okay, so that's the right answer. That's everything. I'm just going to look at one other way we could have done it. So we did this by finding the unit rate and then going from the unit rate to 3 pizzas. The other option, depending on kind of mental math skills or if you have a calculator, we can go directly. So 5 ounces to 2 pizzas. we want to go directly. How do we get from 2 to 3 by multiplying or dividing? So what we can do here is what we're looking for is 2 times some mystery number gives me 3. Okay, so if I write that over here, 2 times mystery number gives me 3. I could write that as an equation, right? Because that's a mystery number. That's a variable. So I could write this as 2 times x gives me 3. And I need to figure out what is that. So I'm going to solve this equation by undoing multiplying by 2. 2 times x. How do you undo multiplying by 2? We divide. So I divide by 2, and you get x equals 3 halves, or 1.5. Okay, or 1 1/2. 2 times 1.5 gives me 3. And if you don't believe that or you're not sure, check that on a calculator. 2 times 1.5, you'll get 3. So then to get my answer, I also have to multiply 5 times 1.5. And when you do 5 times 1.5, you also get 5 ounces. So this is another way to do it. And it's useful because we're kind of saving a step. I mean, I wrote out this step, which makes it longer, but you might not need to do that. Basically, I took my 3 pizzas, and divided by 2, because I want to figure out what number times 2 equals 3. You can reverse it by dividing. Okay, so either way, yes, 1 has enough.